Speaking of California and jobs, nice segue. Thank you, Jill. The Screen Actors Guild wants a federal mediator to help out with contract negotiations in hopes that they can avoid another Hollywood strike. Louise Pennell joins us from literally La La Land. It's all about La La.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We are in potential recession, and these guys are talking about striking? Seriously?
I know, and the studios are talking about slashing their budget considerably, and yet the actors still want to pick a fight with the studios. Go figure. SAG is refusing to sign the contract that was presented to them on June 30th by the studios. So now they're asking to bring in a federal mediator to help negotiate a better deal for them. Now, to tell us more about it, we're joined by entertainment attorney Jonathan Handel. Jonathan, tell me, is this one way of preventing a strike, or is it inevitable?
Well, I think we're leading down the path, probably, unfortunately, towards a possible strike. The mediator was not successful in helping the Writers Guild situation a year ago, and it's a very specialized industry, and the parties are adamant and far apart.
Now, I think Cheryl put it perfectly. Are they kidding? Because AFTRA, the smaller actors union, has already negotiated a deal, which means those actors can work and the actors actually can have dual membership. So
That's right.
Explain to us, how has SAG actually got an argument?
Well, you know, that deal, the new media portion of the deal, the template was done by the Writers Guild, the Directors Guild, AFTRA in two separate deals. But SAG says, you know, there are some loopholes in that deal. We're afraid those loopholes one day will swallow the deal itself and put the union out of business. That's a very speculative thing, and you know, that's many years off. And meanwhile, it is a terrible economy for them to be potentially striking in.
How long can the studios go on if there is a strike, as far as just running reruns and reality television?
Well, of course, they have more of a difficulty when it comes to movies, where you know, the lead time is quite great. But the Fitch credit rating agency says the studios could go on for 6 to 9 months of a strike without affecting their credit ratings.
So if there is a strike, this will, though, completely ruin pilot season, as it did this past year with the writer's strike.
Well, this time, that's right. It would force pilot season to be basically an AFTRA affair, which is an overlapping jurisdiction in television, but not in movies.
So, Cheryl and Tom, all of this, not to mention what kind of a hit it'd have to the local economy. The writer's strike caused a $2.5 billion hit to the LA County area.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that, Louise. Hey, Adam Shapiro's got a question for you really quick, guys.
So don't the writers face a difficult task here, because they would almost face demand destruction if they were to strike, because the studios and all of the people in LA, I would imagine, are looking for a way to clear out some of this expensive talent and maybe bring in less expensive talent. So wouldn't a strike work against them?
Adam, this is a question I actually presented to Jonathan before. You can give him the response.
Sure, absolutely. Most of the actors actually don't earn very much from acting at all, or they're middle-class wage earners. But they would be enormously damaged by a strike. But you know what they've said? We don't care about the local economy. We don't care about the rest of the industry. We're going to get what we want. Meanwhile, the studios are adamant as well. It's a tough situation.
All right, Louise Pennell, thank you so much. We appreciate it, guys. And it is interesting to talk about, you know,
it's not interesting.
It's
insane. They're insane.
You've got a whole media culture. You have a whole media culture which no longer operates under the model that they're trying to negotiate.
Yeah.
So they're going to wind up. It is demand destruction in a perverse way. They're going to strike themselves out of jobs.
He was talking about the last agreement a year ago. That was light years ago.
Yeah, I mean, even if it were 2 months ago, it would be light years.
I vote
Canadian
for Cheryl
actors.
to be the federal mediator. Walk in and go, are you kidding?
Canadian actors, get your resumes together.
That's right.
How about all of these internet folk who are writing sitcoms and doing their own thing, and they're not doing it through AFTRA or SAG?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
This is a wake-up call for a lot of people.
Testing the lows, Jill.
Testing the lows.
Yeah.
Come on back.
Anything at you. I love that.
All
Jill
right.
Schlesinger, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
Strategic Point Advisors. All right. Coming up, taxpayers.
To Tinseltown. Will the uncertainty of a pending actors' strike hurt the holiday movie season? Louise Pennell is in Los Angeles with that story, and just the movie studios coping with, you know, the same trouble, economic trouble everybody is. Louise.
That's true, Dagan. I'm not sure it's going to impact the movie studios immediately, but it definitely will impact television. SAG, the main actors union, and the AMPTP, the main producers union, are still in a standoff. Actors are working without a contract, the contract that was presented to them on June 30th. And now the actors want to bring in a federal mediator. To tell us more, I'm joined by entertainment attorney Jonathan Handel. Now, Jonathan, you've been covering this closely. Tell me, if the federal mediator can't come to a deal, will there be a strike?
Well, it's unsure, but the the union hardliners have a stranglehold on the union, and 93-7%, the union passed a resolution that says, if mediation fails, then we're going out to the members for an authorization. If they get that authorization, and it's a high threshold, 75% of those voting need to say yes, then the National Board probably will call a strike. So we've taken several steps closer down the hardline path towards a strike.
Now, Jonathan, we've already seen the writers strike a deal, the directors. Why would the actors want to hold off on this?
Well, that's right. This is a template that the writers, the directors, the smaller AFTRA Actors Union, in 2 separate deals, that's a total of 4 deals, have agreed to. But you know what? The Screen Actors Guild says that deal may be good enough for everyone else. It's not good enough for us. There are loopholes in that deal, and that's true. But the union says, you know what? We're afraid those loopholes will swallow the union, swallow residuals, and put us out of business.
Well, this is a tough time, as Dagan said, for the studios. We just had an announcement that NBC is going to cut their budget by about $500 million for next year. Are the actors, do they really have an argument here?
Well, their argument is based on a whole series of premises that says, gee, there's no money in new media right now, but there will be someday. Television will go away. It'll all be new media. You go on and you go down that street. But the trouble is these contracts are 3-year contracts. The actors say, well, contract clauses get locked in. But, there's a whole back and forth. The reality is the economy is the worst in, people say, 80 years. And what we're looking at is the actors saying, you know what, we don't care about the economy, we don't care about the rest of the industry, we want what we want and we're going to get it.
Jonathan, what could this do to the local economy in general after we saw the 14-week writers' strike? Economists say it was about a $2.5 billion hit to the local economy.
That's right. It could be a very have a very devastating effect on the local economy. Television, as you said, would be affected immediately, and film after some number of months.
Dagan, I should just say that the AMPTP, the producers, the studios, are taking a hard line, and they will not budge on this contract. Back to you.
Louise, thank you so much for all of that. Well, we get the latest news on the possible combination of GM and Chrysler